Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Delightful Creations. I'm Amber, and today we're going to go ahead and build up our cover for our junk journal that we're making, the winter holiday one. And so I've got our cover top pieces here and the inside cover pieces. I'm just going to set those off to the side for now. I did go ahead and pull out the metal tab on here. I actually just filmed that a few minutes ago, and then I was getting ready to cut down our cardboard. And I realized that the one that I had these two flippy flaps on the end. And when I trimmed those off, it was too short for our bag. This one here is exactly 13 inches all the way across. And so I just have to take off a sliver of it. The other one was only like 12 1/4, and I didn't want it that much shorter because I really want it to reach almost all the way to the edge, like just barely a little bit less, because I really want these edges to be firm because that's where you're going to be opening and closing the book. So I'm just going to slip this in here, and I know that this way I will have enough room to play with. So I'm just going to use my little guide here, and I'm just going to take off just the tiniest bit, and it doesn't fit all the way inside of my paper trimmer, so I'm going to have to trim the rest of it off with my scissors right here. And yeah, so I just want to make sure that this is the best strength that it could possibly be. And this is actually really, really thick cardboard. It came out of another scrapbooking paper pack that I had. Okay, so that should be plenty enough trimmed off to go inside here. So if you line that up, oops, wrong direction. And it looks like, nope, we got to go just a little bit more because it's not going to fit inside. I don't want it so tight that I got to fight to get it inside the cover. But I don't want to take too much off. You can always take more off. If you take it too much off, then you got to start all over or try to find something else that'll work. So just go slow, go small if you're not sure, because like I said, you can always adjust it as you go. Not a big deal. So I just took off the same amount as I did the first time. I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors and trim that up. There we go. And yeah, so I'm really excited for this project to be coming along. It has been interesting so far, to say the least, and I really hope you guys are enjoying this process. I think that's going to work, so I'm not going to take any more off of that way. So now I can just kind of line this up here, and I know that we need to go right about in here somewhere to start off with. And I'm just going to put this, oh yeah, see, it's too big. It won't fit in my trimmer because I don't have the right size. And so I know that's right about 9. Yep. Get over here a little bit. That isn't going to work because this whole thing here is 10 inches. So yeah, I got to go all the way over here to about 9 7/3. Up and down. It's quite thick. My trimmer doesn't want to cut through there, so I'm making it work. Go a couple more times. There we go. And there we go. And I'll trim up from here. So this is the hardest part for me, is measuring. It always has been, and I don't claim it to be my strong suit. See, now I can tell that's going to fit in there quite nicely. I am going to take just the smallest bit more off of this edge because, like I said, I don't want to sit here and fight it, especially once I've got that glue on there. It is going to be a pain to get it to go inside there, and it's going to get glue everywhere. So we don't want to make any bigger mess than what we need to, right? Okay, let me see if I'm happy with that. Yep, that looks good to me. So I'm going to get our trimmer out of the way for right now. And right now I'm going to go ahead and do a test fit. Always test fit everything before you actually glue it down. That's the best thing that you can do. Okay, because we don't want any guesswork once you've got that glue in there. So that fit in there quite nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this flap shut for right this second. I'm going to pull my tape measure out. I'm going to measure it. I know that it's 13 inches, but I'm going to go halfway into the folder. I'm going to bring it up to the top so I can measure it, so we know that 13 is the distance or the length of it. So we know that 6.5 is exactly center, and I know that I want a 1/2 inch gusset. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to measure it all the way up to the top at 6 1/4 right here, and I'm going to mark another spot right here at 6 7/4. So that's going to be our spine all the way down, and I'm just going to draw that line a little bit. Here we go. And down here at the bottom as well, because I'm going to put it in the scorer and I'm going to score it. I bought this new trimmer and it's not my favorite friend just yet. So I just want to make sure. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Probably not. I need to lower the camera. But yeah, the trimmer isn't exactly my friend at this point. So I am going to, it has a scoring and a cutting thing on here, which is nice. It is handy. My other trimmer just has the cutting, and it's more heavy duty than this one. I just really struggle with getting it lined up to where I want it. And that just shows you right there how far off I was on my measuring, but oops, that's the cutter. See, look at that. Just about slice that baby in half. I am not familiar with this. Okay, I'm going to pull this down to the bottom because I don't want it to cut. I just want it to score it. So I'm not going to press super, super hard. I just want it to be enough that it will bend. And then I will bend it the rest of the way myself. So I'm going to measure that. Make sure it's flush at the bottom, right up to the top. We're going to score right along there. And the reason why I did that with both of them together is so that I don't have to do that twice. It made a nice little line there. So I'm able to bend it up once I get it glued. So let's go ahead and slap some glue on this baby. So here's my big fancy Elaine's Tacky, and I'm just gonna slop it on there. I don't even, no rhyme, no reason, just put some on there. Not a big deal. And I'm gonna flip it over here in a second. Ooh, I got a glue glove there. Okay. I know that isn't like a whole fancy ton of glue, but it's enough that'll hold on there. Like I said, I don't sew anything on mine, and I found that that isn't an issue once you've got it all tacked on there like this, glued inside and pressed down, let it dry really good before you mess with it. So we're going to do this part now and stick it inside, and then I'm going to press it down. It does take quite a while to like actually fully dry, but it isn't too bad. Okay, so we've got that all in there. I have my trusty little gift card here that I always use for my spreading out my glue to make sure that I don't have any lumps or bumps. I do have another spreader over here on the side of me that I bought, oh man, I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe now, and I don't use it very often. I don't know why. I just always come back to my old gift card here because it's Charlie Brown. So this is the other big one. It's just really big. You could get a lot more gluage here, but I just find that the gift card works just as good. So you don't need any fancy tools to make this stuff happen. So we're going to let that sit. I am going to glue this flap down because I'm not going to lick that. No, thank you. So I'm just going to glue that little flap down right here. I'm not worried about it. And yep, we're just about halfway done here, guys. Look how quick this was. The biggest, longest part of it was actually measuring and cutting that cardboard down, which I could have done off camera, but I wanted to show you the full-on part of how I make my junk journal. Okay, so we got that glued down, and I'm just going to give this a little bend here where my score marks are, just so I can start it, because I want to know where my papers need to go to line up over that spine. And because this cardboard is quite thick, I might have to run it back through there because I don't want to force it, because then it's going to be crooked. Okay, so there's that. It's how it's starting to look, just enough that we can see it. So I'm going to run it back through on the other side just to reinforce that score line, simply so it will be easier to actually fold over once we are ready to do that. And I'm going to glue on the back. Well, I call it the back because that's how I work. It's actually your front and back cover. And then we will glue on the inner pages. So I'm not too concerned with that at this point. Like, it's still, it takes a little while for this glue to dry, but because that cardboard was so thick, and I'm not worried about it. Now these papers are really thin, so that might be a completely another story. I'm going to turn these over, and if you notice, I made sure that the back piece, I guess it doesn't matter at this point because you could still flip it around, but I like to make it so that it overlaps to the front. That way I don't have the lip, so where my two papers met are right here on the front. It isn't on the back. The back is a solid piece because when you hold it, you're going to grab it and it's going to start to rip on you if you use them as much as I do. So I'm going to lay this down here. We're going to do a quick test fit. and I can see how much room I have for my overlap right here. On my desk. I know it's hard to see for you guys because my desk is white and the paper that we're looking at right now is white. So it's just barely going to go over. So here's our spine. So I just wanted to make sure that it's going to go over the spine. That way my crease or the way the paper is going to be isn't going to be right in the middle of that spine. So I can go in a little bit more because I don't need that much room on the outside of the lip over here on either end. And I'm going to get it nice and centered as much as I can. And the easiest way that I found to do it is just to fold this over and make it flush with the actual envelope, journal. Like I said, I don't like measuring, so I do it the cheating way is what I call that. And then I'm going to fold up our edges along this way. And I just found that this helps me to avoid the measuring, man. That's all what I'm all about. And I don't want to cut off the edge so short that it won't fit in there. Now this one in particular won't matter because I have the inside piece going portrait style, but a lot of times I will use a landscape on the inside of my journals, and so then I have to make sure that what I'm talking about is our papers here. So these ones are going to go this way, so it's going to cover up this. I'm not too worried about the outside cover. But a lot of times I make them go this way, but I knew I couldn't do that with this journal because it was, again, 13 inches long. So that's what we have so far. What we need to do now is we need to nip the little corners. So I'm just going to pull out my scissors right here, and I'm just going to cut off right here where we folded it, and I'm just going to trim it just the littlest bit off. So there you go. I just trimmed it. If I need to trim it more, I will. Like I said, you can always do it so that it is a little bit, and then you can do it more. I'm not measuring. I'm just trimming it. I'm not too concerned with it. As long as it covers the edge, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So there we go. And that's all we need. That's all we need right there. Okay. So I'm going to glue down. I'm going to pull this one out because I want to glue this side first. To me, I always do it this way. I don't know. I'm weird. I like to flap over here. So, yep, we're going to do this first. We're going to go ahead and just grab our glue, and I'm going to put it on our paper. I'm not going to put it on those edges, on those flips. I'm just going to put it on the paper itself. Nice little amount. I don't want a whole ton of glue because I don't want those globs, but I do want it to hold and stick down and not pull up. So that's the most important thing that you can do is go right to the edge of those, go right on there just like that, and then you're going to line this up, and that's why I don't like measuring, because you can just put it right in there, and you have a little bit of wiggle room, especially with the wet glue, that you can move it around if you need to. But with having those creases there, I know exactly where to place it. So if you were using, you know, something like Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room because it dries that quick. It grabs it and you're about done. So that's another reason why I've learned to play fast. And again, just the time saver. So I'm going to really carefully spread this glue out because I don't want to rip our paper. And then this one's going to obviously go this way. And it's a good thing that I check that because this pattern does matter. I just happen to have them on the right spot, but I could have had them upside down. So just going to spread that glue just like that. Okay. And now we're ready for our second piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. Glue it down all over the place. Glue, 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 glue. And smear it, squiggle it. However you like to glue, that's the way to glue. And just make sure you get those globs smeared out because it will come through on that paper and it will wrinkle. So if you don't want any wrinkles, or if you don't want to have to worry about covering them up later on, like with some ribbon or lace or anything else on the front cover, you're going to want to make sure to get these wrinkles out. Okay. So that is our cover now, or the very front of it anyway. So I'm just going to do a quick little smearing of the glue, make sure it's all nice and good. I always go top to bottom, and as you saw, I go side to side because sometimes the glue will sit and hide. Sometimes it doesn't like to smear around. It gets stuck wherever it is. but you don't want to press too hard that you rip your paper, especially that thin copy paper. So there we go, and I'm going to fold these one more time just so I can see where they're at. Now I'm going to go ahead, oops, sorry, let me pull you back over here. Glue my flaps down. I always do my big flaps on the end for some reason first, so I'll just go ahead and add some glue here. And this doesn't matter so much. It doesn't have to be that, you know, thick on there because you're going to glue right on top of it anyways, and it's going to get glued down. So it'll be plenty strong enough all on its own. You don't have to worry. And then we're going to glue the other side down. Glue, glue, glue. Yeah, I do this swirly motion. I do the up and down. I do the whatever. Just get it on there. That's all that matters. All right, there we go. We're smearing it. Now, if you know if you've got too much glue is if when you go to glue it down and you press like this and pull it and it starts coming out the edges. See, so far I haven't done that, but it does happen. It just hasn't happened to me yet. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do this side first, this flap along the bottom right here, just like that. Glue that down. Perfect. Not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it, you guys. It's just supposed to be fun. Like, don't stress out about it. Don't worry about measuring. I mean, unless that's your thing. If you are a measurer, go for it. But I like to eyeball and do the sneaky finger measuring. That's what I do. I'm not exact. I used to be. I used to measure everything really, really exact on you know, for like cutting photo mats and things like that. I still obviously want it to look nice, but I've really been enjoying the freedom that junk journaling has for everything can just be beautiful as it is, and you don't have to be exact. You don't have to have the most newest, latest and greatest. You just use whatever you have, and it works. Like, everybody's project turns out, and you know, everybody's is different because we all have different things to work with. We all have different ways we put things together, and yeah, I've just fallen in love with this. And I don't tend to call mine junk journals. I just call them journals. So, I mean, I do use the term junk journals because that's what they're known as, I suppose, but they aren't junk to me. Even if I had made one out of junk mail, you can still cover that up. So I got to get these corners. I'm going to pay attention because that's how it's going to sit, especially on these ones. Like, I'm not going to add those nice little corner plates on there on the edges of our thing. So I'm just going to go over this one more time, make sure that it's all nice and glued down. Everything's set and sealed, and it is still very, very wet, and I don't want it to pop off of there. So I don't want to, especially this page. This page, I must not have used as much glue, but I don't really want to fold that in half like that. Just going to give it just a nice little, like, I want to make sure it's along that spine is what I'm trying to say. I don't want it to not conform to the spine area. So you can already see how, like, whoo, that is one stiff cover. So I know this guy here is going to go over here on our right side, and the one with the top hat is going to go on our left side of our cover. Now, the fun part about this is you can trim it down if you want to be able to see some of this snowflake and pine tree covering on the edge, but you know, I don't like to measure, so I'm just going to do it this way. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to literally just line it up, and I'm going to glue this entire thing down, and then I'm just going to cut the top off. So I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to fold that over. I know it's lined up, or it was lined up till I moved it, and yeah, I'm just going to flip it up just like you saw me do before. Just like that. So I know that part doesn't get any glue. See, because I don't want to glue all the way to the top. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it even stronger. It's going to go ahead and cover up the spine. So you won't have to worry about adding a third piece. On some other journals, you're going to have to add like your spine to your binding, and so that you don't see the middle of it. Sometimes I do it that way, and other times I don't. So this is the first time I'm doing it this way. Don't ask me why. No rhyme, no reason. I just decided right now that's what we're doing. Maybe because I looked at the video time, and I've never done a video, well, very few videos this long. So it's like, I'm trying to hurry. I'm trying to hurry, but I want to make it nice, right? So, okay, I'm going to smear that down and grab my little whatchamacallit here, gift card smear. And, yep, starting to get a wrinkle, so I gotta smear it back the other way. There we go. You can always add more glue. You can't take the glue out really once you've got it in there, so I'm not too concerned with that. You know, there's plenty of ways that we can fix our little goofy mistakes if we make any, like over here. So I gotta add a little bit more glue down here. But the main thing is just to get it on there. Just get it on there, right? Okay. So that one's on there. Now this is where it can get even more fun, but because this is really thin copy paper, I'm not going to turn this into a pocket out of this paper, but you could certainly make this a pocket if you just glued it here and here, since our spine is way up here. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to flip this over and bend it back so that I don't glue on that part. So I hope you guys are having fun crafting along with me and learning some maybe tips and tricks, maybe little shortcuts, quirks, all that kind of thing, and hopefully you aren't bored. Yeah, putting a journal together, the cover is not my favorite part. I usually do it last, but I've decided to do it in the second stage. I don't know why. Maybe because I want to get it out of the way so I can enjoy the rest of the process and I don't have to sit here and worry about filming that and getting it done, because I've got to do it on camera live like this. So if I mess up at home and I'm by myself, it's not a big deal. Yeah, so here we go. We're smearing it around. We're going to use our gift card here to keep going. And that was the other nice thing about using this digital print here that I made, is that these two pages match together. I'm not worried about it. They're snowmen. They're in a blizzard. It's snowy. It's all good. Keep spreading that glue around. There we go. Make sure we go all the way down. I can see some of it didn't come all the way to the edge down here. We've had no glue leakage, so that's a plus. So I'm just going to gently lift up this little lip here, and I'm going to squeeze a small amount of glue. It's going to come out a little bit because I really want to make sure that is glued down. And it's okay with me if it comes out a little bit because I'm going to hide this seam. Like I said, I'm going to add a pocket. I already know that I am, so it's all right if it comes out. I ain't worried about it. There we go. All the way down, nice and tight. So this is, like I said, it's quite wet right now. Oops, I don't want an ugly smear, so just rub it off. But, yeah, this is our junk journal cover. Now all we got to do is trim up this puppy here. So I'm going to grab my trimmer. Like I said, I don't use scissors a whole lot because, well, I can't cut straight. So it's just easier for me. Usually it fits in there. I don't usually use these big old envelopes, but because I've got a few of them, I need to. Oh, it's not going to reach, you little turkey. All right, I'm going to have to use my scissors. I thought I could get away with it, you guys, but guess not. Just going to trim that up. Boom, 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 boom. Being really careful not to cut into that other layer of paper right underneath there that's kind of lifting because it's not quite dry. There we go. And, you know, we can come back and touch those edges up. So this is our cover. Like I said, I don't want to bend it. This is the inside. You got a snowman on each side. So I'll kind of give it a good bend here so you got an idea what we're doing. But I really need this to dry before I fully go in and bend it because it's going to wrinkle our paper. So there we go. That is our junk journal cover. Thank you so much for watching with me, and I hope you stay tuned for the next video because it's going to be so much fun, you guys. Bye for now.